I'm back with another preference to baby mama pipeline. Now, I would like to clarify to the Black women that commented on my last preference video and were talking pretty reckless to me. I want to make something clear. I don't use the word preference because these women are truly superior to monoracial Black women. I use the word preference because that word is weaponized against monoracial Black women to make them feel inferior. And this series is meant to empower Black women so that they can see that these women are no better than them. Because if they truly were the preference, then they would get preferential treatment, but they do not. These women are uplifted only to hurt Black women and also to pressure Black women into feeling as if they need to accept mistreatment from Black men to compete with the other races of women Black men supposedly desire so much. It is nothing more than triangulation. And let me get another thing straight. Black women are the blueprint from where all life came. Scientifically speaking, Black women are unique and wonderfully made. And I think that I have always made sure to say how much I love and adore and think that Black women are special and amazing. So I have no idea why anyone would think that I was ever thinking that other women were better than us, or I felt inferior to them, or I was trying to make other Black women and Black girls feel that way. I don't know where that's coming from, because to me, that's insane. But like I said, that was just I just wanted to say that for the Black women that were tearing me up. I even had to block some, so it was just like out of control. But anyway, let me give y'all a quick disclaimer before I get into the video. All right, this video is filled with my thoughts and my thoughts alone. Everything in the video is all alleged. Nothing is factual. I do not know any of these people personally. I do have a commentary channel, and I do use clips as part of my critical review and in accordance with fair use guidelines. Now that we got all of that jargon out of the way, let's get into it. Now, this video is about Shemar Moore's baby mama. Her name is Jesiree Dizon. And, this is off topic, but I'm going to tell y'all anyway. Back in the day when I was a youngin', Shemar Moore was my crush. I thought he was so fine. I'm talking about middle school. I was telling my mama that this grown man was going to be my husband. She wouldn't listen to me, though. But you know what? That was before the Tyler Perry braided wig, so don't judge me, all right? This was around the Young and the Restless time that my granny had me watching at her house. But this ain't even about me. My bad. I just want to let y'all know. But, I think that oftentimes when people talk about the Black community and single motherhood and Black women having babies unmarried and they're ruining the Black community and all of that BS, no one ever acknowledges that Black men, and in Shemar Moore's case, a biracial man that is taking on the qualities of his father, that they do not value marriage. They do not. So how can you build a community and a village and a relationship with a man that doesn't see the value in that? And what's crazy is that this woman, Jesiree, had this man's baby 2 years ago, and she's been with him 5 years. Now, in my opinion, not trying to be shady, but I don't know what about Shemar Moore gave that he was husband material or gave that he's a man that you want to have a child with. That man is 54 years old, and he is 13 years younger than his ex-girlfriend, Jesiree. And he's out here talking about in interviews with People magazine that he's never seen marriage as part of his plan because he's never had a good role model for marriage in his life. Excuse me? I'll say this: when you reach your 50s, you can no longer rely on what examples that you've seen. You are supposed to be the example. You know what I mean? And my thing is this, is that Shemar Moore has been running through women, running through them for decades. He's been linked to Halle Berry, Toni Braxton, Kimberly Elise, some of the baddies of the baddies of the baddies, okay? And I'm not even going to talk about all of the non-Black women that he's been linked to. And, you can see by all of these pictures that there have been many, many, and probably even more than this. And my thing is that you think that a man who was, at his peak, he was highly desired. A lot of women thought he was attractive. A lot of women wanted to get with him. You think that he hasn't met a woman that has been willing to give him all of her and then some? Come on now. You know that he has. He just didn't value it. And therein lies the issue. You cannot build something with a man who thinks what you are trying to build is worthless. And I really wish that people would make the correlation when you see that type of behavior manifest with Black men and biracial men who take on the attitudes of their fathers, that you would realize that the single motherhood issue or the unmarried issue in the Black community is not the Black woman's problem. Okay? But please watch this.
I'm looking for joy. I'm looking for calm. I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for love in my life. Back up with the comments. Because if you're negative, you're boring. Okay? Breaking up ain't easy. It ain't easy. But if you get it.
Now, a man that is 54 years old, that has been linked to a plethora of women, and has a 2-year-old, and a woman that he just wasted 5 years of her life. And he's also said in interviews that he's never seen marriage, like I said earlier, as part of his plan. Him sitting there talking about he's looking for love and peace, that is wild. That is wild to me. So very immature. I promise you, if I was Miss Jesiree, I probably would have had to crash out. Like, that would have been like, oh, okay. I'm about to act crazy. Oh, my goodness. But, this is a perfect example of what I'm trying to say. This single motherhood epidemic is not the Black woman's issue. It's not even the preferences issue. It is the Black man's issue and also the biracial man's issue who has taken on the attitude of his father. He doesn't value a relationship or a marriage or a partnership with the Black woman. And like I said, he usually doesn't value it with non-Black women either. They just lie to them, tell them pretty dreams about how they're better and their hair is straight and silky and how they're going to do this and that. And they're so submissive to tell them to make them think that they value them. But time always shows that they do not. And, it's really like funny, but not funny, because a lot of times these women like to lie to themselves. They'll tell themselves that they are superior to Black women because Black men do all of that and gassing them up and lying to them, But I wish that they would really understand that these men are lying to them in order to make them more easy to manipulate. Because if you watch the actions of Black men and biracial men in Shemar Moore's case, you will see that they treat them the exact same way or worse, And like I said, I'm just saying, if you're 54 years old and you're about to be a senior citizen very shortly, which isn't a problem. I'm not age shaming anyone. I'm just saying that because we all get older. Just want to make that clear. We all get older. The only alternative is not being here on the planet. And of course, no one wants that. So, but what I'm saying is being 54 years old and still out here, you're making baby mamas. That's indeed a problem. That is definitely a problem. And people have got to stop blaming it on women. Now, I'm not saying that women, if you see a man that has a track record of not keeping women around or running through women, no, you shouldn't have a child with them. You shouldn't, So, because me personally, an aging bachelor like Shemar Moore, what would make you think that you're going to be the one that's going to lock this man down? No, you're not. You're already having intercourse with him. You had a baby by him. Like, he has no motivation or reason to marry you. And even if you hadn't done that, he probably would have just traded you out and got somebody else because he has options to do that. Because there are still women that find him attractive. I don't, but there are women that find him attractive still, But, and I want to talk about something else that has never been addressed. Or I guess it's been addressed, but people don't talk about it a lot. The same way that Black men who are irresponsible with their seed and they make babies and then they turn around and get mad that they have to pay child support for those children that they made. And it's like, on one hand, you're telling me that you're the leader, you're the one who's supposed to be in charge of women. But you mean to tell me you want to be in charge, but you can't control yourself? You can't control your ejaculation? Make that make sense. You don't want to be a father. You don't want to pay for a child. Then you need to strap up always or get a vasectomy. You know, because you will hear men always say, you can't trust these women. You know how these women are. They gonna quickly put a brother on child support. That's what they gonna do. That's what they like to do. They like to use a child as a weapon. They like to use a child to get me to do what I want to do. Well, if you truly believe that, sir, and you still out here having intercourse, why are you recklessly shooting a club up? Sounds irresponsible to me. Because it's easy for you. A vasectomy is an outpatient procedure, bruh. Period. You know, and most birth control, when people talk about birth control or people talk about condoms, you know, if you use these things consistently, most of the time they don't fail. And you could use backup. You could use spermicide. Or you know what, which is a shocker, you could just abstain. Don't have intercourse with women you don't want to have a child with. Don't have intercourse with somebody that ain't your wife. And I know that that's so hard for men to even think about doing because they're so busy shaming women for what they do, but never shaming themselves. Just like you say, oh, well, she didn't have to sleep with me. You didn't have to do it either. You are a human being just like women are. You can keep it in your pants. So my thing is that if you don't know how to control yourself, since you're supposed to be the leader and you know how men say, oh, I'm carrying life within my sex. Well, shouldn't you be a little bit more careful with life that's going on in your sex? You shouldn't be releasing it into anybody. Because my thing is that you find a lot of men that are very careful with their wallet, their debit card, their money, their PlayStation, their Xbox, very, very protective of that. But then you're not protective of your seed and who you choose to make a mother or not. What? Like, you tell me that's insane. And that's giving to me, you ain't no leader. You lack self-control. And, you know, let me just say, all I'm saying is this, is that when is the Black community going to acknowledge that there is a problem with Black men and the lack of value that they put on having children with the woman they love and respect and actually want to build a family with? Where are the Black men that you see? I hear Black women all the time talking about, I'm celibate. I'm abstinent. I've been celibate for this amount of years, that amount of years, because I can't find a man that is acceptable to me. Men are doing this, that, and the third. I don't want to be a mother. And if I did want to be a mother, I want to be a mother with a man that I love, that's respecting me. I know he's going to be a great father. There are so many women that opt for that. You don't very rarely hear men opting for that. That's always an option for you too, but you don't. So, I mean, and we've just got to really understand that there is a culture of allowing men to be sexually undisciplined. There is. And we've also got to instill in Black men, Black boys, you know, probably Black boys, because Black men it's probably too late. But for them to actually respect and value, you know, having a child with a woman that they love and they respect, because you wouldn't have a lot of the problems that you do. And making sure when you get with that woman and you build that family, that you respect her. You're not out in the streets. You're not cheating on her. You're not knocking her head between the washer and dryer so she wants to go. So you still end up in the same situation of a separated, broken home with you paying child support, which apparently that's the end all and be all of life. You paying $100 a week, brokey. But anyway, I'm about to go on another tangent. Let me stop. I also want to talk about the fact that there is a culture in the Black community of degrading women and only looking at them for what they can mule and how much pain they can take. There's also a culture of making babies with women, as I said earlier, that these men do not see a future with. There is a culture of men being truly ignorant enough to think, truly ignorant, that having a baby with a woman is not a commitment, but marriage is. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to marry you. I'm not ready to put a ring on your finger, even though I'm living with you. Our finances are merged together. You know, you doing everything that a wife does, but I'm not ready to marry you, but I sure will pump you up with 2, 3, 4, 5 babies. A baby, regardless on what people want to think, a baby is a lifelong commitment. And even if you break up, you still have a connection to that woman. But I think a lot of times with men, the reason why they think that it's easier to have a baby versus get married is because they feel like if they choose to marry that woman, they will owe her something. Like they owe her loyalty, not to cheat. They owe her not to constantly still have their options open as they're looking for more women or whatever the case may be. And they don't want to do that because they're still looking for something better. Or they still want to cheat. And they feel like, well, if I give her the baby, that's something that may placate her. And also, if things go left, I'm going to leave the baby with her. She's going to do the majority of the work. Her life is going to change, but the baby's not going to be with me. I'll take the baby every other week or once a month for one day and one night. And the person whose life really will be different will be hers. So they feel like it's still no real commitment that they're investing as a man. And I really do believe that. But I wish that Black men, and in Shemar's case, biracial men, would understand that at least with divorce, if you don't have children with that person, you can easily go on without seeing them ever again. But if you are a father, you have a connection to that woman and to that child. Even if they don't ever speak to you when they come to you when they're adults. You have a connection. And even if you don't want to look at it that way, you have a spiritual connection. You have a spiritual duty to raise your child. And you also have a spiritual duty to treat the woman that birthed your child with respect and not just like something that you can just throw away or toss away. But let me just say this. This preference to baby mama pipeline, this Black woman to baby mama pipeline, this Black woman to single mother pipeline, none of this will ever stop until Black men and also biracial men that take on the culture of their fathers, if they choose to, take it upon themselves to shame baby daddies and deadbeats. Take it upon themselves to shame men that sleep with women and make babies with women that they have no respect for. Black men should be having children with their wives and their wives only. Now, people will say like, what women, they don't want marriage no more, so it's not important and all of these different things. I can guarantee you that Jesiree Dizon, this woman that had Shemar Moore's child and was with him for 5 years, I can guarantee you that she wanted him to marry her. I would be willing to bet money on it, but he just wasn't willing to do it. And then I wish they would understand that the reason why you have these babies with these women and the relationship fails and breaks is not because of them, it's because of you. Because if you really truly loved and cared for the woman, you would want to marry her anyway, because that's what men do. They tend to be territorial. And if they find a woman that they really like and really want, and they know that other men want her too, they want to marry her so they can tell all the other men, no, this is my woman. She's mine. Get away from her, et cetera, et cetera. That's just how men are. And if they're not trying to do that, there's a reason for that. And, you have to understand, so the whole relationship is already built on a shaky foundation because you don't value the woman from the jump. But anyway, like I said, we have got to stop giving men a grace that we don't give to women. And we do it all the time. Men do it, women do it, everybody does it. Because you have so many men that say, oh, those women are for recreational use only. We just play with these type of women. We just sleep with these type of women. We just do this. No, we don't. That is a lack of self-control. It is. Because anytime you have intercourse, anytime, there is a risk of getting pregnant, period. So I don't want to hear anybody, oh my gosh, I'm so shocked I'm pregnant. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, if you was going to be that surprised, then you shouldn't have been doing nothing in the first place. Because anytime you do it, there's a risk of getting a woman pregnant. So why would you be out here having intercourse with women that you don't like, you think are recreational use, you don't like them? Why would you do that? And then be mad if the woman says she want to keep the child and now you got to pay child support. That's all on you. That's your fault. Completely your fault. Like, just like you think that women should reserve their bodies for their men or they should not be out here just doing whatever with anybody, the same thing should be happening with men. And I think a lot of times we always put this morality duty on women when it should equally be on men. We always make it like women have to be these pious, virginal beings that don't do anything, while men can just be super nasty and do whatever, put their sausages in holes and not know who's on the other side of it, and that's all good, And if he's not gay, like, who is he doing all of these things with other women? So anytime you're doing that, you're even pushing forth what you don't like about women by doing all this stuff with women who you think should even be that way. It's just a twisted, it's chaotic. And, I wanted to say something else. Y'all, I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but this is important. I wanted to say this again. Shemar Moore, well, I didn't say it earlier, but I'm going to say it right now. Shemar Moore he will still be considered a quote unquote high value man, financially set, on TV, attractive, all of that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He chose to be in a relationship for 5 years with a woman that had 2 children previously. So I really wish that, and it's plenty, like, I know that y'all would think that just black men say that whole red pill stuff, that single mothers, women that have children, men don't talk to them and all that other stuff. It's not true. Plenty of white tea men get on this app, do red pill content, and they say the same BS. And it's not true. If a man gonna like you and he gonna want you, he gonna like you and want you, regardless of whether you got kids or not. So please don't let these men make you feel like that's an issue. It's not. And I just wanted to put that out there. But like I said, I do think that this woman, Jesiree, made a mistake, and she already knew the type of time that Shemar was on. She already knew that he was ran through, passed around, been passed around by all of these women in Hollywood, been everywhere, had that little thing everywhere. Excuse me, I don't know. I'm just saying. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant it like, y'all know what I mean. He just had that thing everywhere, all right? Not trying to shade anybody's member. I'm just saying. He'd had that thing everywhere. And you do that. And maybe you thought that you was about to be the better woman, but no. I wish that women would really understand that it's never you. You're never better than the next woman. Of course, we're all special and all beautiful, but when it comes to men and their behavior, if they're wilding out or they're not treating women well, you're not going to be the exception. You're not. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you. It's not. You're going to be sad. You're going to be sad just like the other girls were. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, if you know a man is an F-boy, or in Shemar Moore's case, a older F-boy that should definitely know better, stop entertaining them, thinking that you gonna be the exception. Stop entertaining them thinking that you just got the golden kitty cat, the golden cootie cat, that you about to put it on this man, and your cooking is just so good, and your personality, you just about to really just, no. It ain't gonna work like that. Plenty of women have tried, and plenty of women has failed. Okay? And I just want preferences to realize this as well. A preference status will not protect you. It will not. These men play. They tell you those things, but they're going to play with you too. But anyway, I digress. If you watched this whole video and you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and drop a 99 in the comments. And if you can't donate to my Cash App above to help support the channel, that's no problem at all. Just do your girl a free favor. Follow me on TikTok while it's here. I live stream there. Follow me on YouTube. I do most of my business there. So please make sure that you hit that notification bell and the subscribe button. Smash that like button as well, so that you don't miss any of my stuff that I got going on, because I do a lot on my YouTube. And as always, ladies, I really love to hear from y'all and hear y'all perspectives, whether you agree with me or not. I still like to hear you. So please drop your thoughts, comments, and feelings down below.